Hello everyone, welcome to a fresh new video. I have a cold today, so yay. The look for the tip of the nose is gonna be pink or red. Don't you hate that about you get your makeup done and then you inevitably have to blow your nose or rub your nose and there it all goes. But here's what I've been doing lately in my collection, pulling out some things that I wanna declutter, but I think we've all probably hit that place where it's like, well, I think I'm gonna declutter it, but actually I don't remember this product too well or how it performed on me, so I'm gonna need to try it again. And so products that are in that weird little category are what I'm going to be testing out today, and we'll decide what stays and what goes. And by the way, just because I may not shoot a ton of decluttering videos does not mean that that's not happening on an ongoing regular basis. With this size of collection and with PR coming in, you really have to. You've got to keep an eye on things and keep it from getting too crazy. Sometimes it still does get crazy, but there are so many times where I do little mini just, okay, these few things need to go, these things need to go. And here's where I sat down and really looked through so many of my different categories of makeup and just pulled out some things. So first off, with primer, really questioning this Milk Grip primer, the hydro stuff. I feel like I've used it several times, haven't felt like it gave me amazing results. I'm definitely getting rid of this Hard Candy Sheer Envy Blur primer. See, I'll tell you some of the things that are for sure going. This CoverGirl Simply Ageless, I put this in my basket, tried it yesterday, and actually loved the texture of this. CoverGirl is doing some great primers these days, so I'm gonna stick that back in my drawer, and I will try the Milk again today, and we'll just see where this goes. I've already got my moisturizer on, my sunscreen and everything, and I have squeezed out about a pearl-sized amount of this. But it's just a different kind of feel with this primer, you know, like it's kind of tacky. It does make you feel like you're giving your skin extra hydration, but I need to pay closer attention to the way things wear with it. Foundation-wise, things I know I'm getting rid of, this Vapor foundation stick. This has developed kind of a funny scent. I think it was about a year ago I did a video on Allure's Best in Beauty, and this was like a top foundation. And it was good, it wasn't mind-blowing, but it's just kind of smelling a little funky now. Also my Aveeno Positively Radiant CC cream. Love this stuff, wish it was more readily available, wish they had a few shades in it, but this is definitely past its expiration and needs to go. When I see expired sunscreen things, it just kind of makes me assume that the sunscreen in there is probably no longer effective. This Dior Forever Undercover 24-hour full coverage foundation has never really meshed wonderfully with my skin. I've always felt like it made me look a little too dry, so I think I'm just gonna be done with that. And the one that I'm gonna try out again is this Too Faced Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation. I have it in the shade Nude. This is one where it's like, okay, I'm sure it gave me a decent enough look, but I haven't used it in a while, and how does it stack up with things that I've, you know, been putting on my skin more recently? So I'm just gonna dab this around. I think I'll apply it with a beauty blender. Coverage seems really nice, and this is an excellent shade match for me too. It also has quite a scent to it, which is a little strange, you know, as far as foundations go. Kind of a melon sort of scent. If somebody's gonna do that, it's gonna be Too Faced, you know. So we got our dewy foundation on top of the hydro primer. My skin actually, it feels moisturized and stuff, but it doesn't feel overly sticky or anything. But I do really like the coverage and tone of that foundation right now. I'm really not in a place where I'm in need of hanging on to certain foundations, but this may be a good one going forward, especially into the winter season. All right, buckle up. I got a lot of concealers going bye-bye. This Glossier Stretch Concealer, I feel like it's too old and it is not the same consistency it was when I purchased it. Just a creamy pot style concealer, and I feel like it's kind of thickened up quite a bit more than where it was at when I bought it. This Tarte Amazonian Clay Waterproof 12-hour concealer stick, I feel like I've just had that on hand for way too long. This little e.l.f. concealer, let's let it go. Also gonna let go of this Flawless Fusion concealer from Laura Mercier. Never really enjoyed that on my skin. Same deal with the First Aid Beauty Hello Fab Bendy Avocado Concealer. Some of these I didn't love the look on my skin. I didn't feel like they covered enough. Can't Stop Won't Stop from NYX I thought was actually too drying. And the one that I'm going to give one more chance to today is this Josie Maran Vibrancy Concealer. This is the Argan Oil Full Coverage Concealer Fluid, and I have it in Fair. So we're just going to pop this on and see how it does with this look today. Had this for a little while in my stash, but I don't think it's been too long. And I think this is a good shade for sort of highlighting and brightening certain areas up. Yeah, I was using that First Aid Beauty concealer yesterday. Ooh, This is nice. And seeing my skin in some different lighting, because I actually shot my hospital bag video and I had that on, and I think it was a product where I thought it was looking better at the onset, maybe like right here when I put it on in this room in this lighting. I was sort of test driving it yesterday. But then ultimately I was not that impressed with the look of it just in my everyday life. And maybe it was a staying power issue, but the coverage was not hanging in there. Make sure to really get that nose that I'm sure I'm not gonna blow in the next, 10 minutes or so. Here's our Josie Maran. It gave us some mega brightening because it was a nice light shade. Not world's greatest under eye coverage, but man, does it feel moisturizing there. There's a product I really regret not using more. Oh, I forgot to mention a few more foundations, by the way, that I am letting go. My Josie Maran Whipped Argan Oil Beauty Butter. I feel like I've had this on hand a long time. It doesn't quite smell right anymore. This Tarte Empowered Hybrid Gel Foundation. Loved this stuff, but I'm going to let it go because, again, it's been a long time. This Physicians Formula Le Velvet Foundation. This is a cream foundation. Feels quite a bit too dry for my liking. So those were a few other formats of foundation that I kind of forgot about here. Got a couple of powders I'm going to pass on. One is the True Blend Minerals in the translucent shade. I was talking about this very recently, how this product has kind of a sparkle throughout, which I don't love. The banana powder I'm going to let go. I used that in a recent video and it wasn't terrible, but I've just, I've got enough. And these are bulky. Loose powders you really have to look critically at, I think. Okay, this product from IT Cosmetics called Bye Bye Redness. I don't have a ton of redness. Like, that is not my top makeup concern, but I was always really impressed with what kind of coverage I felt like this powder had, but yet I haven't been reaching for it, and I think there may be like friends or family I could share this with who would really appreciate it. My Makeup Forever Press Translucent Powder, it's their Ultra HD. I have just not been using that, and try as I might, the Translucent Crystal Light Reflective Setting Powder from NARS. I mean, this is just a product I can't really understand. I feel like I put brushes into it. I'm not ever sure I'm really picking anything up. I'm not seeing a big effect on my skin. This product has really been hard for me to grasp for some time. I'm letting go of this Flower Light Illusion Perfecting Powder. Again, I feel like I just have way too much where powder is concerned. I'm not reaching for it a whole heck of a lot. I think it's a decent powder, but not blowing my mind. And today I'm gonna test this Lancome powder. This is the Longtime No Shine Translucent Powder. We're gonna put this on the T-zone area and give it one last shot, since I don't feel like I've got a clear opinion on it right now. But isn't it just ridiculous how large the containers are for some of these loose powders? I mean, it does make it hard to keep a lot of that stuff. Who's got the storage space? So I'm going to pick some of this up on my e.l.f. Small Tapered brush, and we'll take some of this around the nose. Texture of this powder, it does seem kind of silky smooth, but I'm already not loving the way that's looking immediately as it sets the under eye. If I don't like it right now, I'm probably not going to continue to like the way it wears in that area. And it may be the heavy emphasis on mattifying, the long time no shine claim or whatever, that may not make it ideal in that zone. But I've just got enough. I've got enough powders I love. This is probably going to go. Went through my bronzer drawer and got some things that I need to let go of. This mini butter bronzer. Now, I am a fan of butter bronzer in a couple of their richer shades, but I think this is the lightest color and it really doesn't do a whole lot, so I'm gonna let that go. Also, this CoverGirl True Blend bronzer, I'm not sure if they're even making this anymore. I did like it. It's got a nice subtle glow. It's kind of like wanting to be like Laura Geller's Bronze and Brighten, but not quite as good. I'm just gonna let that go. This little e.l.f. bronzer here, don't love the tone of this. It's really, really light, like just a very light tan, and it doesn't quite perform how I want a bronzer to on my skin. I'm gonna pass along this Aladdin bronzer. It's barely been used. I feel like somebody could definitely still take and get a lot of enjoyment out of this, and I really don't hate it. I just have a lot of this depth and this tone of bronzer. This product from Morphe called Brontour, I'm not reaching for this a whole lot. I feel like you have a decent bronzer here, and then this shimmery shade that's not quite dark enough to be bronzer, not quite light enough to be highlight. It could mix in with that all right, but I'm just not reaching for this product. This Too Faced Natural Lust bronzer, arguably some of the prettiest packaging in my collection, but I'm really not using this, and I haven't loved the way it picked up with a brush. I felt like this tone of peacock design here, the tone that's in there, kind of watered down the bronzer even more. I'm just not a fan. But here's what's getting another shot today. This is my Master Bronze palette from Maybelline. I seem to remember raving about this in a video, not really recently, but at some point along the line I had really good things to say about this, so I want to try it out again today and see if it's worth keeping. What we have here are two shades that are clearly bronzer, one shade that's just kind of like a light sort of soft shimmer, and one color that's a definite highlight here. So I'm going to go down to my bronzer type color first and see what we can do with that. Barely any effect. Okay. What happened there? Did it like harden up over time? I'm not hardly seeing it. Maybe if I mix it, sometimes certain textures are a little softer. Mix it a little bit with the other bronzer shade that's in there. Seeing a little more impact when I do that. It's there, but it's just barely there. Do I want to keep a whole palette in my drawer for that? Oh, ought to try that double chin face from the makeup tips video, because that did work. I don't know, guys, I'm just super underwhelmed by this bronzer. I just don't feel like it's hardly showing up. Let's see what that highlight looks like though. Just grab a little. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I have a feeling that was this palette's saving grace right there. I mean, that's beautiful. It's nice and soft. It's like kind of pearlescent. It's exactly what I like a highlight to be. But I do have plenty of highlights that, you know, are that for me. I'm not really in the mood to keep a full palette just for one shade that I like. But that is the most effective part of this palette for sure. Here's what I'm letting go of in terms of blushes. Some of these City Color Be Matte blushes, I kept several shades that I felt like were a little bit more everyday, that I'd be prone to reaching for more, but these are really, really intense. And while I can appreciate an intense blush, I'm just not getting a lot of use out of these. So Blood Orange and Pink Grapefruit are gonna go. This blush from MAC, it's called Mother of Pearl Pearl Matte Face Powder. Like, really unusual looking product here, but I don't know that I've even dipped a brush into it, and when I looked at it I just thought, at this stage of the game, why don't we pass it along to somebody who could use it. This from Revolution, pretty compact here. It's called the Blush Compact Opulence. A little of this goes a very long way, again with overly intense, super bright blush that I'm just not feeling compelled to reach for. Here's the thing that I'm kind of testing though, is this thing from e.l.f. and it's the Modern Metals. It's a really like lightweight, it's so light. This palette here that has seemingly 3 very earthy colored blushes and 3 highlights up top. Now I've already got some highlighter applied, but what's in here at the bottom, you should know, is matte. So any glow you see on my skin is coming from what I've already put on. I want to try this shade right in here. I feel like I've barely used this product, very unfamiliar with it. My kind of tone, I like that. So powdery though, I probably should have. There's a lot of excess tapping off. Okay, why did this thought just pop into my mind? I think I'm gonna make crock pot chicken tacos tonight. Yes. That blush shade is doing it for me. I really want to see this deeper one in action a little bit here too. This is kind of a nice fall vibes sort of palette here, you know? I'm just doing this a little lower on the cheek. It's almost looking like contour, but I just needed to see the color, okay? Then I could take my little blushed up brush and do my tip from my random tips video where they said put it on your forehead, go across the nose, put it on your chin, sun naturally hits there. And then, gosh, we owe it to ourselves to try one of these highlights. There's a peachy one, a very light bronze one, and then kind of a golden one. And they all seem like actual nice textures and tones. Ooh. Let's try the lightest, just a little bit since we already have highlight on. Okay. Ooh. I think this might be a keeper. If anything can capture me, it's a good blush and highlighting product, right? If anything can win its way back into my stash. All right, you can stay. 3 setting sprays up for consideration here. We've got the Smashbox plus the Hood Witch Aura Shield Primer. Primer water, that is. Man, my hair is looking like a hot mess, especially at that angle. This is the Clary Sage and Tea. You know this is the one we're going to be testing, right? I've got this Lancome Fix It and Forget It. It looks so full. Again, I kind of sometimes see things like this sitting around in my collection that I've barely used. I've got plenty of options to use on a daily basis, and I see it and I think somebody else could use that. And then this NYX Bear With Me, which I did like, and I actually think this is a great option maybe for someone in a makeup artist role who wants a purely unscented setting spray. It does say sensitive skin friendly, and it didn't carry any extra scent, which I think is probably wise for a makeup artist. So those are 2 I'm gonna let go of. But let's see what the Clary Sage and Tea setting mist is like. I have a rose scent from this collection, Rose and Jasmine, that I'm definitely keeping. Okay, kind of just, you get this herbal kind of, yeah, the tea. I like primer water. I like the effect on my skin. But like I said, the rose scent from this collection is already a sure thing to me, and I'm not in love with this one enough to keep it hanging around. I'm gonna let it go. Brow stuff I'm letting go of. This little CoverGirl pomade that is in the tiniest little jar. I feel like I've complained about this anytime I've used it in a video. You gotta go down deep to get your stuff, and it's very hard to only ensure that you're getting a minimal amount on your brush, so I'm done messing with that. I'm gonna let go of this Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Gel that has like the wand applicator. Frankly, I feel like I own other products that are sort of in that bracket. One that's really coming to mind is the Physicians Formula, the thing called Brow Last that I feel like is just an even more effective execution of that kind of idea, so I don't really need another. I'm gonna let go of my Believe Beauty brow pencil here. This is an ash brown. It's an appropriate shade, but as I was playing with it very recently, I couldn't believe the softness actually of this, and it was depositing way too much product in my brows. I'm letting go of my Kush Fiber Brow Gel. This is the Diesel color. It's so dark. You have to be so careful with this. I'm probably gonna go ahead and use it today, just, you know, to have a brow gel to use in this video, but I do plan to let that go. And then sort of on the chopping block is this Brow Contour Pro from Benefit. You guys know it's the little old school clicky pencil where you push down the shade. It has, as well as several shades of brow color in here. It's got like a definer and highlighter shade that are lighter that you could kind of use around the border. We'll try it again, but I've got a handful of like really good brow products that I feel super strongly about right now, and it's gonna have to be great. And this is in the color called Brown Light, and then you can twist it to make more pencil come up. Pencil is a little softer than I expected. It actually put down quite a bit of product right there. Pretty nice color tone, you know, filled in very easily, very quickly. I do feel that with this little clicky pen, the product in here being a little softer, you want to be ready with a bare spoolie to kind of help brush things through, because you don't have that here, do you? Brush some of that on through. Let's try a little bit of this definer shade. So when you pick one of these, you're not only deciding like the brown, you know, the brunette color, but I think the light indicates that you're picking light skin tone, for example, so that this shade will match you. Kind of a clean edge on your brow. I sort of like that. And then the highlighter, let's add a little bit of that. That's not quite as light as I would have expected, but okay. Not seeing a huge difference between the highlighter and the definer, but they do just kind of both help clean up the brow. Here's what I say. We'll see how I feel at the end of the video when it comes time to make a final call. I'm just not sure. And then I've got my Diesel here from Milk. World's darkest, deepest brow gel. Will do the job of tinting your brows, but my word, I am barely touching the hair. I just don't really need this in my life. The application stress, you know. For eye primer, guys, I really didn't have anything to declutter. I only have a few on on hand, like my Milani, this Thank Me Later from Elizabeth Mott, which came from Amazon, and I love that too, and my glitter glue. So I'm just putting on some Milani today. And then I have so many different eyeshadow products. Like, we could approach this declutter in a number of ways. We could just look at singles. We could just look at big palettes. The area I chose to focus on are drugstore kind of smaller palettes. You'll see what I mean here. Palettes that are like this size, okay? I've got a drawer that houses a lot of them, and I'm ready to let some go. This one, actually, I played with it yesterday, the Maybelline Soda Pop. It has won its way back in. This one stays. I kind of like the unique color spread, and I like the quality in there, and I thought it was really easy to put on and made a pretty look. I am, however, going to let go of the Lemonade Craze. I just feel like these colors, while maybe it's kind of a unique selection for the drugstore, overall in my collection, the warmth is pretty rampant, so I'm going to let that go. These older, like, nudes palettes, the Rock Nudes, kind of bland looking smoky palette here. The Graffiti Nudes, I don't think these are even still relevant and available right now. The 24 Karat Nudes, not terrible, but not like amazing. I'm holding like an entire stack right here. These couple from Wet n Wild, I don't know that they're still in this format anymore. These came from Walmart. One is a real like Urban Decay Naked dupe. That's the one called Bare Necessities, and then one's called Nude Awakening, and it's more like burgundy. And I like these, but it seems to me that Wet n Wild has pretty much moved on to that kind of like 2-column design for their little palettes these days. These Rimmel Magnifies palettes, just very, very basic, like maybe a Naked 3 sort of vibe there. A real Naked palette looking one there, kind of a smokier one. I feel like overall, this line has kind of moved past this and created some very specific color schemes. Like, I'm keeping the Spice Edition and the Crimson one, and some of the ones that are a little more vibrant. And these, I don't think they even have these names anymore. They probably have similar color schemes out to that stuff. Letting the CoverGirl True Naked Goldens go. Again, I don't think they're making this anymore, although I did like this palette. I'm gonna let the Jewels Edition go. The chocolates, I always thought this was kind of meh. The shades looked more exciting in the palette than they ever came off on the eyes. The smoky palette, sort of same story there. A lot of things looking similar by the time it all gets blended. I think what we may play with today is one of these Katy Kat palettes here. So the Katy Perry sort of collaboration range of CoverGirl. We've got this one that's a little more neutral. We've got this one with a few fun pops. But do you see how I'm lightening my load considerably as far as eyeshadow goes? I am kind of curious about some of the colors in here, some of the pastels going on. Yeah, let's try it out. Let's first take some of this deepest color with the flat brush. And this is another little technique from my makeup tips and tricks, your makeup tips and tricks video, where everybody shared some great ideas with me, and kind of reversing the order of your eyeshadow and going with the darkest color first. And then we move on to the crease, and you'll find that things get really nicely blended at that point. But this is a pretty legit black here. While everything in this palette seems to have shimmer, and this black is no exception, it's more of a softer kind of satiny look. What else to play with in the crease? Maybe some of this like rosy shade right out here. It does look pretty sparkly, but it's not wowing me there in the crease. I remember these coming to me in PR and kind of just immediately falling under my radar a little bit. There was just a lot of product overwhelm at that time, and I just didn't give them the attention I should have right away. But okay, so that's that rosy color kind of blending in there, and it's so shimmery. It's kind of having a hard time adhering. Like, I'm seeing a lot of sparkle flaking away, and maybe some pigment is sort of hanging around there. But there's not a lot of great crease colors in here. Okay. Let's take some of this really light blue. We're just going to use the sponge tip and kind of dab this around the inner corner. Really icy, pretty nicely pigmented. I feel like with the exception of black though, basically this is what this entire palette is the light shimmery statement colors. And we needed a little bit more of the toned down stuff. This one has more of that, but I kind of want you to get at least a feel for what this palette and this palette alone would do. Okay, so I've surrounded the inner corner. Then I want to go to this lavender here and add some of that in on the lid. In the palette, it looks like it has a little bit of a gentle bluish iridescence. Look at how it really, like, immediately brought out a bluish look going over the black. That's where the blue shows. Interesting. And then let's say we add a little bit of this blue. Let's just work with that even more. A little blue pop on the outside. My takeaway with this little palette is that there are some shades in here with some really decent color payoff. It's just not a palette that comes together in a real cohesive way to create the full look. You know, we need a little more crease stuff happening. We need some shades that aren't quite so shiny. I think here's my decision, guys. I'm gonna let this one go. It's just not fully doing it for me. I feel like I'm getting real cotton candy vibes on the eyes right now, which is fine, but I'm not loving it. This one, I'm gonna hold on to and give it another shot because there are some things looking very appealing to me in this. And I do think the textures are good, and I think I'd really enjoy the looks that this one turns out. So that gets another chance on another day. This one's going bye-bye. Eyeliner time with a focus on liquid liners. I'm letting go of this Voluminous Lash Paradise. They put out a really light shade, like a light rose gold color that I'm just not finding myself using at all. The Revlon, this dark teal, which is a pretty color, but it's that like pizza cutter method that I'm just over it. A straight up gray from L'Oreal that I just do not find myself wanting to reach for. e.l.f. H2O proof eyeliner pen. I recall using this and realizing, hey, that does smudge on me. And then from Butter London, this line of Glazin, it's called lustrous liners. So they all have some sheen, and I was thinking maybe I would use this navy color. I also have what's probably a shimmery black, purple, and brown. You gotta shake it up, and this is just something I feel like has gone completely under my radar, and today is the day to try it out again. Oh gosh, it is pretty. It's not got straight up glitter in it, but there's like a micro fine kind of shimmer running throughout. I think I'll wing it just a bit. That's kind of cool. It's one of those very subtle effects where I feel like from a distance, yeah, you look like you're wearing eyeliner, but only up really close can you tell that it's got that nice like navy intensity. But it's more blue than a lot of navy liners would turn out to be, you know? There are plenty of times where I've gotten something called navy and then it ends up being near black and it's like, well, what was the difference? And it went on very opaque, not watery at all. I think those may stay for me. Might be a fun way to kind of kick up my makeup look from time to time. And then mascaras. Let me take you through this. The Essence Lash Princess Waterproof. Not waterproof. Goodbye. Almay Multi-Benefit Mascara. My issue with this one was that the wand comes out of the tube way too gooped up with product. It's not the worst mascara ever ultimately, but it's like they need to rework the tube. This L'Oreal Unlimited, I've had it too long. I'm pretty darn low on it. This is the one where the wand is bendy, so I liked that feature of it. It wasn't a favorite for me. Physicians Formula Organic Wear Fake Out Mascara with the false lash effect. Not even close. I'm sorry, I know this is new, but I'm not remotely drawn to using that again. Sorry, this is brutal. The Revlon So Fierce. This is one of the better mascaras that Revlon has put out in recent memory, but it's kind of like run its course. You just can't keep mascaras on hand forever, so that's gonna go. The Too Faced Damn Girl, I mean, I just cannot with it. This one comes out that's the messiest wand ever. Messiest brush. It just gets goopier and goopier every time. I don't get it. Just not a fan. And then here's the last one that's getting a shot. It's the Le Volume de Chanel from Chanel. Why is it getting another shot? Well, I dropped some money on this one. I really wanted to try it, wanted to see if it would be good, was not immediately impressed, but now some time has passed and maybe I'll like it better just for its added age, you know? That's the way mascaras work sometimes. You know, the mascara just sits in the tube, it gets a little older and wiser, and you end up liking it better. I'm gonna curl my lashes here and we'll pop it on and see how it goes. It's got this interesting brush that does appear to be rubbery with a ton of really short bristles. I just remember getting this new and thinking like this needs to be amazing, and it just wasn't knocking my socks off. Now, okay, quite a bit better than I'm remembering. Excellent separation. It seems to be building on itself a little better. I think this one can stay. I wanted it to be better. I wanted to like it better, but it is actually performing quite a bit better, building up more quickly on the lashes than it was before. Anybody a diehard fan of this stuff? If you know this mascara well, is it something that you also tend to like as it gets a little older, or do you love it right off the bat? It's just doing a really nice job of separating my lashes, but then building on them without clumping them together. And I don't know about you, but I'm loving those dark lashes alongside that navy blue liquid liner. Okay, my last category of makeup I decided to dig through the other day are my tinted lip balms. I've got that area like right up here on my table, and it's getting pretty full. It really needs to be pared down. It's kind of like eyeshadows where I could look at lipsticks. I could look at liquid lipsticks and lip glosses and everything else, but I need to focus it, otherwise this video would get way too overwhelming. So a couple that I'm getting rid of, these CoverGirl Oh Sugars. I feel like I've had them for such a long time. Although it's a cool product and it's a nice, like, you know, this looks deep, but it's actually a really pretty sheer berry balm there. This other one that looks pinky is really just like a hint of color, overall clear. But those, I know I've had them so long. Same deal with these, the L'Oreal Color Riche Balms. Really beautiful product that I have loved so much, but I've had them forever. Like, I just don't feel right about using them anymore. Remember Tender Mauve? I feel like I talked about that a lot in videos of years past. I've also got the one called Plush Plum. Just nice, soft, comfortable, beautiful tinted balms. And I'm not even sure if they're still making those. I need to look into it. This Sunbum tinted balm in the shade called Bonfire. I like this stuff, but the stick like straight up broke and it's really a pain to use, but it's a nice kind of warm, rich shade. These little guys from Givenchy, these are kind of those color changing, color adapting, allegedly, lip colors. One is called Perfect Pink and one is called Intense Pink. So this one goes on and it makes your lips still, I think, look kind of bright pink, and then the other one is an even brighter pink tint. And it's just kind of like, meh. It Cosmetics has been doing that with the Je ne sais quoi for a long time. I'm just really not nuts about these. I wish they could ultimately nail down like a softer, more natural looking pink on the lips. And then here's the one that gets another go round. This is the Mini Plumping Lip Balm. I think this may have come in a Sephora Favorites kit from Trestique. Barbados Berry is the shade. It's like an EOS type of rounded off deal here. And we'll just pop this on and see how it goes. Okay. Gosh, a pretty strong color considering the lack of precision here, complete lack of precision. It's like this could easily be going on like a mile outside my lip line right now. Pretty rosy color. Feels nicely moisturizing too, but this application idea here is just not doing it for me. Like, I can't imagine trying to apply this without a mirror and being remotely accurate with it and staying inside my lip line. This is cute though, very cute. Okay guys, what do we think? What do we think of the finished look? I mean, a lot of random things coming together for this one today. Let's do an overall take on what's staying and what's going. I think I'm gonna let this Milk Hydro Grip Primer go. It would be a real easy thing to hand off to someone else and they can hopefully get use out of it. I got a lot of product left. I'm just not feeling super amazed. I think I will hang on to the Do You foundation though. I think this is a great tone right now, a really nice texture. I enjoyed the coverage. I'm gonna keep that, and I'm gonna keep the vibrancy actually from Josie Maran, because again, I thought it offered a lot of nice moisture to my skin. This Lancome powder is going bye-bye. It's huge. I think it does the job for mattifying, but like, I have so many other things that can do what this does and maybe not make me look so dry on the under eye. I think it's time to let Master Bronze go. The bronzer shades were just not effective enough. Let's face it, the whole thing was hanging around for the highlight. I will, however, keep the Modern Mattes from e.l.f. because I thought these were three really beautiful looking blush shades and three nice textures of highlight. I just can't see tossing that one. I think the brow contour thing from Benefit can go. I mean, I have enough brow stuff. I do not need to keep one more thing. The Milk Kush Fiber Brow, like I said, we knew that was going. I am going to keep those Butter London Glazin liquid liners because I think that's a beautiful yet kind of understated way to amp up the routine. The Chanel mascara can stay, and from Trestique, this one's going bye-bye, sorry. So as you can see, I am letting go of a substantial amount of makeup through this declutter, but I did, you know, definitely learn some things about certain products. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you like this style of video, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.